called the anthem. This is for all the Jake Paulers. We run the game. I love you. Bye.
Nice to meet you. Alright. AJ. And your girl Lolo. Do that one more time. What's up, y'all? It's AJ. One more time. What's up? Yeah. I'm over it. It's AJ. Other side. We're gonna use music. Because this is the news. Oh. We're going to review the Shane Dawson docuseries that he did on Jake Paul. We're pretty much gonna talk about like how Shane did, how Shane talked about Jake. So in that way, we're coming like kind of unbiased to the situation, but we also want to share our opinions. We have a lot of opinions on this series. So this is my first encounter with Shane Dawson. I had no idea who he was before this docuseries. I also had no idea who Jake Paul was before this docuseries. I knew or heard of him, but I didn't watch the video.
Alright, welcome to part 2 of the Mind of Jake Paul.
And to sit down for the first series and hear another person call someone who they don't even know a sociopath, it struck a nerve.
Have you met any sociopaths?
I meet a lot of people, but I don't know if I met a sociopath.
It did. I don't know why, but it struck a nerve, and I felt for Jake Paul because even though he said, yeah, you had my permission, I don't think who would give anyone permission to make them look bad? Not just bad, but who would give a person permission to call them a sociopath? So this is coming from like an outsider point of view, someone who's never watched Shane Dawson, any one of Shane Dawson's videos before. Now, I've been a Shane Dawson fan for pretty much since Shane Dawson started on YouTube. So I have a better understanding of his character, what he's been doing throughout this series of like going and talking to YouTubers, real people, and about their real stories. So this one was like the biggest one he's done, and I think it was like the most tea.
Oh, that is literally the most haunting thing.
Reactions were really different to the first episode. I was super excited because I had been waiting since the Tana Mojo series. I was like, I know the next series is gonna be even better, and it was. So I was really excited. She was just like, why is he talking about, you know, Jake Paul like this? So we take very different like sides in it, and I had no idea who either one of them were at the time. But I felt like we came to kind of like a mutual agreement by the end of the video, which I feel like everyone didn't. We argued because she was trying to defend Shane Dawson's side, even though she doesn't know Shane Dawson. Can see that she can whoever see Shane was for both of the situations. It was just not a good situation that he had himself in, and he said it many times, like, maybe I shouldn't do this, maybe I shouldn't do this. You shouldn't have done it. But because, like she said, her point was, well, Jake Paul agreed to it. He agreed to it, so I doubt he cares that much of someone else's opinion. But still, no one is perfect, my guy, Shane.
And the fact that I probably need more therapy.
You know Shane has problems. If you're a watcher of Shane Dawson, you know from the beginning, like, he's talked about his problems, been very out there. But I feel like the way this video took a kind of like, the way it took off was very judgmental. I feel like people have a better like image of Jake and why he does the things he does, which I guess was kind of the purpose. So Shane, congrats on that one. I don't think he accomplished anything, honestly. That is Hollywood, and that's always been Hollywood, and that will always be Hollywood. Jake Paul literally has people, or had people, that they were benefiting off of him, and because they didn't necessarily like him, they decided to turn their back on him at the end of the day. But they forgot everything good that he actually has done for them, and it was like, well, yeah, pretty much, I get it, we're one and the same. He's actually a good guy, he's respectable, I would love to live in his house. You didn't accomplish anything by this documentary except bashing him and then realizing like, oh man, this is just a normal person. What we discovered was that he was just another person, and that's not that exciting.
You made an 8-part
But he's
documentary.
become like this famous person off of it, which I guess is great.
Jake Paul was already famous.
No, but like he's made more. Was what
I get it. Like Jake Paul signed up for this, but that's only because Jake Paul is actually a decent person. He could have ruined his career with this type of publicity. And the way Shane put it, like just even down to the littlest things like the music. So you're like, it's like you went out your way to make somebody look bad or to get a story when there really is no story. He's human. Issue. He's not an abuser. Like there's really nothing wrong with Jake
and now
Paul.
that I've seen that part, because I watched Alyssa's video right when it had came out, so I had a lot of sympathy towards her because I hadn't seen the other side where she was like, because I hadn't watched the whole FaZe Banks sit down.
As well, like they admitted it. Everybody was lying. Everybody was bringing up blackmail and that's Hollywood. I hate that.
Behind the scenes,
It's a very fake
because
world.
the whole thing is a scene. That's
Yeah.
what it is, and that's what you guys aren't seeing. Like, it's behind the scenes. These people are real people, and these people have like a mess. Sometimes their lives are messes because that's real people.
The whole docuseries pointed out that you can't let yourself like fade away. You can't become this fake person just for the
The other thing I want to talk about is how YouTube has been turned into this like evil place. I feel like that's also one of the reasons I didn't want to start filming, because this like happened last year when these people were like lying on people, making up things about people. Like
A year
to
ago.
watch it unfold now.
Yeah, exactly. This all happened a year ago supposedly. I had no idea. But it was happening and it's still going on. Like that's a good thing about YouTube. Drama's relevant for a long time. You can talk about the same subject 10 times on your page and people will return if it's juicy enough.
8 times.
If it's like miserable enough. And I feel like Shane Dawson played that card. But who are you to step
He
in?
didn't say that. He said that he knows how people would take it, but he doesn't think he's purposely manipulating.
So why even bring it up?
Because it's what people said. He said he was taking in answers from other people.
As he plays that, he was saying, Shane kept saying, I'm not calling him a sociopath, but cuts to clip of Jake Paul. This is what a sociopath might do. Cuts the clip of Jake Paul. But I'm not saying he's a sociopath. Cuts the clip of Jake Paul. The whole time, it was just like, you were really playing.
And that's not like accusing Shane of anything, because you know, I want to come off unbiased to the situation, because I don't.
Did we say that? Because I'm not coming off unbiased. I totally from the get-go I'm a Pauler at this point. Like Jake Paul,
I didn't really watch any of his videos, so this made me kind of, I guess, have more empathy for him.
and that's discuss. If you're gonna discuss it, talk about yourself and your own mental health issues. Don't talk about someone else when everybody has something, you know. Nobody's perfect.
Hasn't told you, but he's told his people who watch him.
Right. So keep that to yourself. That's
So
fine.
from like most people would have taken it as like Shane Dawson, like why is he talking about Jake Paul? Because some people didn't want Shane to do this. So
I thought it was.
I'm really glad he did it though.
I thought it was very creative. At the end of it, I'm glad Shane brought it back and kind of like put it out there. Like, you know what? This is just a case of people who kind of nobody was in the right. This is everyday life. You know, people break up, people get mad, they go online, they talk, they could have really like just threw their whole family under the bus. Throw the whole family under the bus. Yeah, do like an undercover but
There's nothing
family of Jake Paul.
Then
You're a cousin nobody knows about.
the traumas,
Yeah, but at the end you realize
bad
like
parenting.
he didn't expect to have to touch on his family, but everybody's family is crazy. Everybody comes from some type of background.
Maybe he's never talked about it, so maybe he needed that, and maybe it was like his 360 come around as like a new, improved Jake Paul. You know, we'll see where Jake Paul goes from this and what happens.
We'll see where Shane Dawson goes.
Yeah, what is
Don't
she
do any
gonna
more
next?
documentaries, bro. Just do something else. Become a director.
I'm excited
actor.
because people are saying like
Whatever.
he's just gonna come out with like a getting intense, like even more intense, because he talked about his like dad before and his past traumas with him and did a whole thing. Went and interviewed his dad.
I did.
I believe Jake wanted a little bit of that clout because the past documentaries have blown up, and I believe he wanted his side shared, which he got that. And I feel like maybe he didn't want sociopath attached and all of these accusations attached and all this extraness attached.
Alyssa.
But it's good that he got it out of the way because it's old stuff that was already like unfolding and he got to share his side. So I think he accomplished what they both wanted, I guess.
Anyways,
This is what hunger does to you. Turns into a whole psychopath. Am I Jake Paul? We gotta go. It's time to leave.